2 years of silence, then she showed up at my door, asking for a second chance.
I never expected her to show up again. Not after 2 years, not after everything had burned away. She stood on the doorstep in the early morning light, a silhouette framed by the door. I'd been awake for hours, alone in the quiet house I had spent years rebuilding. When the knock came, I wasn't sure if I had imagined it, but then I heard it again. Light, tentative. I opened the door without asking who it was. I had stopped caring about things like that a long time ago. There she was. My wife, looking just like she had when I last saw her. But different too. There was a weight in her eyes now, something deeper than the arrogance she once carried. A woman who had lived through something, who knew what real loss looked like. She just stared at me, like she was trying to figure out if I was the same man who had once been everything to her. "How did you find me?" I asked, my voice steady. A flash of regret crossed her face before she wiped it away. "I've been looking for you," she said, her words quiet, almost lost in the space between us. "I didn't know where you'd gone, but I knew I had to find you." Her tone was softer now, hesitant. This wasn't the woman I remembered, the one who left with a finality I couldn't understand. This woman seemed to be carrying a weight I wasn't sure I was ready to bear. I didn't ask the obvious questions, where she had been, what had happened, why she left me to endure that silence. Instead, I just nodded and stepped aside. She walked into the living room like she had every right to be there, like time hadn't pushed us into separate worlds. "I've missed you," she said, her voice barely a whisper. I swallowed hard, pushing back the emotions rushing to the surface. The woman who had left without explanation, who had chosen someone else, was standing in front of me, talking like nothing had happened. "I'm sorry," she started again, but I cut her off. "Sorry for what?" I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. "For leaving? For the lies? For disappearing without a word? Or for coming back now that things are different?" Her eyes welled up with tears, and for the first time in years I saw the woman who had once been my partner. "I was wrong," she said, her voice trembling. "I know I hurt you, I know I broke you, but I've realized what I did." I wanted to ask if she realized how she chose someone else, the coldness with which she shut me out, but I didn't. Instead, I took a deep breath. 2 years. You had 2 years to fix this, to find me, to apologize. "Why now?" She hesitated. I didn't know what I wanted then," she admitted. "I thought I had everything figured out, but I was wrong. I know now that what we had, it was real. I didn't appreciate it. And I regret that more than anything." I looked at her, the woman who had once been the center of my world, and tried to decide if her regret was enough. Words don't heal wounds. They don't undo the damage. "You left," I said, finally breaking the silence. "You walked away without a word, and now you want me to believe everything can be fixed in one conversation?" She shook her head. "I'm asking for a chance," she pleaded. "Not to fix everything, but to start over, to rebuild if you'll let me." I stood there for a long moment. She had left, and in her absence I had rebuilt myself. I had learned to live without her. I had found peace in the quiet. And now she was asking me to open that door again? "I can't just forget what you did," I said, my voice steady. "I can't pretend that I didn't spend nights wondering why you chose him over me." She looked at me, her eyes pleading. "I don't expect you to forget. I don't expect you to erase the past. But can we try to move forward? Even if it's just baby steps?" I looked at her for a long time. She had hurt me in ways I could never forget. But in that moment I realized something. She had come back. She had come back because she realized what she lost. I nodded, finally. "We'll see," I said, my voice calm but firm. "We'll see if it's even possible to rebuild." Relief washed over her face, but I knew this wasn't going to be easy. Trust isn't something you can rush. As the door closed softly behind her, I understood something I hadn't before. We can never go back to what we were? But maybe, just maybe, we can find a way to move forward slowly, carefully, with the weight of the past always with us. I didn't know if it would work. I didn't know if I was ready to forgive. But I knew that life wasn't about holding on to what was lost. It's about deciding what we can still build, even from the pieces that are left. What would you do in my place? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.